There's a quiet shift that happens in relationships after 50. It's not loud. It doesn't come with an announcement. But slowly, deeply, things begin to change. And the truth is, most couples don't talk about it. Not because they don't care, but because they don't always have the words. You may recognize yourself in some of these. And if you do, know this, you're not alone. Intimacy after 50 doesn't disappear, but it evolves. What once felt spontaneous may now feel intentional. What once was physical may now be more emotional. Many couples notice that their connection becomes less about intensity and more about presence. But here's the silent struggle: they don't always know how to adapt. They may miss what used to be. They may feel confused by what is. And instead of talking about it, they stay silent. The truth is, intimacy doesn't fade, it transforms. And when couples learn to embrace that transformation, they often discover a deeper kind of closeness than ever before. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no argument, no dramatic moment, just distance. Conversations become shorter, moments become quieter, connection becomes thinner. Many couples over 50 begin to feel like roommates instead of partners. And the hardest part, they don't know when it started. This distance isn't always about love disappearing. Sometimes, it's about life getting in the way. Years of responsibilities, stress, routine, all slowly creating space between two people who once felt inseparable. But here's the important truth: distance can be rebuilt, if it's acknowledged. As people age, something deeper begins to surface. A quiet question: do I still matter? Many individuals over 50 struggle with feeling invisible, not just in society, but sometimes even in their own relationship. They may wonder if their partner still sees them, not just physically, but emotionally. This isn't about vanity. It's about identity. About feeling valued, appreciated, desired, not just for appearance, but for who they are. When this need goes unspoken, it can create a quiet sadness. But when it's recognized, even small gestures can bring it back to life. A look, a compliment, a moment of genuine attention. Sometimes, that's all it takes to remind someone, you are still seen. After decades together, many couples assume they know each other completely. But ironically, that assumption can weaken communication. They stop asking questions. They stop explaining feelings. They begin to expect understanding without expression. And when expectations aren't met, frustration builds. Not because love is gone, but because communication has changed. Here's what many don't realize: long-term relationships require new conversations. People evolve, thoughts change, emotions shift, and staying connected means continuing to learn each other, even after 30 or 40 years. Over time, emotional priorities change. One partner may seek more closeness. The other may value more independence. One may want deeper conversations. The other may prefer peace and simplicity. Neither is wrong, but when these differences aren't understood, they can create tension. Many couples silently struggle here because they don't want to seem demanding or difficult. So they suppress their needs. And over time, that silence creates distance. The key isn't to eliminate differences, but to understand them. Because love after 50 isn't about being identical. It's about being aware. By the time a couple reaches 50 or beyond, they've lived through a lot together. Memories, challenges, mistakes, and sometimes, unresolved pain. Small hurts that were never fully discussed. Moments that were brushed aside, but never truly healed. Over time, these experiences don't disappear. They settle, quietly, influencing how partners see each other, how they respond, how they connect. Many couples carry this emotional weight without realizing it, and it can create a subtle tension even in peaceful moments. But here's the truth: healing doesn't have an expiration date. Even after decades, understanding and forgiveness can bring a new kind of peace. This is perhaps the most silent struggle of all: the awareness of time. After 50, life feels different. There's a deeper sense of how quickly things pass. A quiet realization that the future is more limited than before. And with that comes a question many don't say out loud: are we making the most of what's left? This thought can bring closeness, but it can also bring pressure. Some couples grow stronger through it. Others feel a quiet regret. Moments they wish they had spent differently. Words they wish they had said more often. But here's something powerful: it's never too late to change how you show up in a relationship. Even small shifts, more presence, more kindness, more honesty, can transform the time that remains. Relationships after 50 are not weaker. They are deeper, more complex, more layered, more real. Yes, there are silent struggles. But within those struggles, there is also opportunity. To reconnect, to rediscover, to redefine what love means, now. Because love at this stage of life is not about perfection. It's about presence. About choosing each other, again and again. Not out of habit, but out of understanding. So if you recognize any of these struggles, don't see them as problems. See them as invitations. To talk, to listen, to feel, and most importantly, to grow together in a way that only time can teach. Because sometimes, the most powerful love stories are the ones that continue quietly.